Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. I gotta tell you, man, I used to be a very, very picky eater when it comes to any kind of food. I used to not want veggies on anything. I would only eat steak with ketchup. I would only eat pepperoni pizza. I would only like a certain kind of sandwich. And I would have it my way every single time that I ate a meal. Now, I pretty much just eat whatever is put in front of me. Anything. It could be from a burger with everything on it on the menu, everything that's included in the burger when you order it. Pretty much any kind of pizza I'll eat. Steak, I just eat it by itself. I think that's like the best way to eat a good steak is to just by itself. When I think about how I used to eat steak with ketchup, I almost want to hurl. I'm not even kidding you. It is and just sounds disgusting to me to eat a steak with ketchup. That to me sounds just like no bueno. Like, what in the world was I even thinking at that age? I'll tell you what I was thinking. I need something sweet with this steak. And I was just like, what's kind of sweet that goes with meals? Ketchup. Ketchup is like one of the most sugary things that you can put on your dinner. Whether it be back then with me with steak, eggs with at breakfast with your eggs, which I don't do, by the way. On a hot dog, French fries, and ketchup is really good, but it's extremely sugary. It's kind of like that balance, right? It's like that sweet, savory balance with like whatever you put the ketchup on, it kind of balances out with some sweetness to it. It's really good. I won't lie to you, it's really good. And I still use ketchup today. I'm not hating on people that use ketchup. It's just I'm disgusted with how I used to eat steak back then, putting it on putting ketchup on my steak. We're not even just putting it on there, but just like having a little dipping pool of ketchup next to my steak when I was a kid. But I don't do that anymore. I'm a grown man. I eat how it's served to me. Now, I don't even go out of my way to modify things at all, really. I'm kind of like straightforward. I don't like to stray from the path. There's this thing at In-N-Out. In-N-Out, if you don't know, is a burger place in California where they have tremendous, tremendous burgers. Really good burgers. They've perfected the fast food burger, at least like, throughout in all their stores where they reside in this beautiful, beautiful state. They perfected it. But you can modify your burger. You can modify it to the way where you don't even need to have like buns on your burger. There's this thing that they make. It's called a protein style burger. Now, it's not really what you think. It's the burger that you order, but instead of buns, it is wrapped in lettuce. So, it's not like you're getting any more protein. It's just cutting out the carbohydrates. That's what it should be called, the non-carb burger, not the protein style, because you get the same amount of protein with buns and without buns on that burger. So it should not be called the protein style burger. It's kind of a weird thing to complain about, but hey, people like it. I don't see how they could. I enjoy a nice bun. I really do. Buns are savory, fluffy. It's got a good texture. Even though I'm not a texture guy with food, I don't care. Right? I really don't care. Like, a texture is not really going to affect how I feel. about a certain food. I will just eat it. I don't care. I will eat the food. But it completes a burger for me. It really does. I think that it just enhances the flavor, enhances the savoriness, kind of soaks up all the juices that are in that burger and sauciness. Like it soaks it all up and it just makes it even better for me, I think. So I enjoy a nice bun. Now, I just can't really grasp the fact that why you would want to modify an In-N-Out burger for any reason whatsoever. I think it's perfect the way that it is. I really, really, really do. I think it's just perfect. And I've tried the protein style. Slippery, kind of wet, not as savory in my opinion. I think that it's just a little bit more savory with the bun instead. Now that's not the only modification I've seen. I've never seen anybody do this, but I've seen it online quite a bit. You can get the patties in between two slices of onion. I've seen that. Now that looks a little reckless, in my opinion. Very dirty, a little messy. But it looks kind of good. I will not lie. If you're trying to gain a lot of protein, which is the same amount, by the way, it's not like you're getting more, but cut out the carbohydrates, then that would be a pretty good option to do, I think. I mean, it would be, I think, a little bit more flavorful, for sure, than just with lettuce, but, to each his own. And then I've seen 2 patties in between 2 slices of tomato, which I've barely heard of for the first time online. Didn't even know anybody wanted that. I could imagine that being very acidic, being very, very of an acquired taste that I don't know if I would vibe with. I'll be honest. I don't think that I would want that. I like tomato when it's in something. It's when it's in like a burger, a sandwich. But it's all like in between multiple things. Cheese, meat, sauce, lettuce, pickles, onions, bread. It's in between all that stuff. So you kind of get a hint of tomato when I put together like a nice sandwich or a burger. That's what I usually use tomato for. I don't like really just eat tomatoes by themselves or BLT. That to me is what I usually use tomato for. Now, when it's just like the meat and the tomatoes or the bun, that's like half meat, half tomato. That's a little too much tomato for me. I think that's overdoing it in my taste. Tomato's fine, but it's not my go-to veg. Even though it's not even really considered a vegetable. It has seeds, which makes it a fruit. And you can kind of tell. I mean, you can just like kind of look at it and be like, yeah, that's more of a fruit than a vegetable. But we think of fruit as just sweet, though. Like I've told you guys on this podcast, I'm a huge fruit guy. I love fruit. Fruit is tremendous. Apples, oranges, strawberries, cherries, peaches, nectarines, mangoes, pineapple, watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, kiwi. I love it all. I really do. There might not be a fruit that I don't enjoy. Like if I'm being honest, I'm looking back on like what I like, what brings me joy. Fruit brings me a ton of joy, and I love it more than, it's like better than like candy. And I love candy too, but I'll be honest with you, if I want to either pick between, depending on like what's available, fruit or candy, I'm probably going to pick the candy, but I do love fruit. Like, don't get me wrong, fruit is incredible. It's like one of like nature, it's like nature's candy. But I've had like these grapes that I got at Costco one time, and they're called cotton candy grapes. And I've said this before. I'm not a huge fan of the modified fruit. It just kind of like puzzles me. Like, why is it modified? Why is it altered? Why is it taste the way that it tastes? I get it. One of the first modifications that I've ever seen in my entire life, and this might be a modification. This might just be delaying the ripeness of this fruit. But like when they came out with the seedless watermelons, that was like a big like, whoa, how is that even possible? Watermelons have seeds. They're like in every watermelon. Now this one has no seeds. What the heck is going on? Like, I'm not too sure how they even make that, how they test that, if they clone it, if they like bring it up in a lab and, grow it from like a tube. I don't know how that works, but hey, you accomplished it. You created a seedless watermelon with no seed. I mean, like there is seeds, just not the annoying giant black seeds that you got to spit out. It's like these tiny little, barely seeds, like these yellowish, whitish seeds that are in there that you can eat. I mean, you probably don't want to eat them. You probably are like, why would you eat a seed like that, right? But it's like, it's so small and minute that you're like, just kind of goes down when I'm chewing on my watermelon. And you just kind of ignore it, But when they make these grapes that taste like cotton candy, at first they taste just like it. You bite into the first one, you're like, whoa, this is actually just like cotton candy. Why? Who did this? Why would they do this? Is it because candy is so good that they're like, listen, I mean, us in the fruit market, we're healthy, we're somewhat sweet, but we ain't candy yet. So let's try to make it so like we taste more like candy. That way we can get more sales. I'm guessing that's what it probably boils down to. I don't understand like why anyone would make such a big effort to modify something that's already perfect. Like grapes alone, green, red, purple, whatever, are good for how they are. They're delicious. Like you bite into a grape, you're like, oh yeah, this tastes like it came from the ground. Like this is exactly how a fruit that was grown and came out off of a vine or a bush or wherever the heck grapes come from. And you're like, you pick it and you eat it. You're like, yeah, this is nice. This is natural. This is how this should taste. And I'm okay with that. When it tastes like cotton candy or super sweet, or you can tell like, what's going on here? And it's not just grapes. It's other fruits as well. Apples, mainly grapes though, but they just taste a little different. They like modify it for some reason. It's like, why would you do that? No one asked you to modify it. We just wanted a grape for what it is. What's up with all this trouble? All this scientific discovery thing? For what? Just so you can make a sweeter tasting grape? That way you could put a little bit of effort into your job of growing grapes? It's like, no, you already growing grapes. Like, that is your job and you're good at it. We just need more of regular grapes. I don't need any more cotton candy grapes. I really don't. I'm sorry. I just don't need that. So when people overdo food, overthink it, overorder it, are picky, need to modify it. Not just modify it, but alter it. I look at them like, is just selling the food just not enough? You got to be a scientist now. You got to innovate. You got to explore. You got to discover. Do you have to just find your why? Do you need to find a reason to make this happen or to try new things? Possibly. I mean, I can only imagine like a farmer, right, who sells or grows grapes and likes his grapes, eats his grapes, is like, you know what? What if this tasted like cotton candy? I think that would make me happier in life. Maybe that's what he was thinking. Maybe a third party science group, genetic food science group was like, hey, you know what? Can I try something with your grapes? And the farmer's like, yeah, sure, why not? And then the food science guy's like, yo, check this out. So I just infused a cotton candy flavoring with your grapes. as they were growing, taste this. The farmer's like, sure, why not? Boop, pops in his mouth. Is like, whoa, this is good. Like, this is something I never would have imagined, but I love it. Could have been that. Could have been something like that. Like, he was like, whoa, I mean, like, we gotta sell this. We can sell my regular grapes, but also we can sell these as well. It's a whole line of grapes, the cotton candy grapes. I don't know. I don't really buy into that. I don't really support that either. You know what's also kind of crazy though is like you get like multiple different kinds of sizes of like chicken breasts and just chickens overall. There's some places where you'll buy like a rotisserie chicken and it'd be like a whopping giant. Like a giant chicken. Like you're like, whoa, this is like borderline a small dinosaur. And then you actually buy a regular chicken from the store that's itty bitty, a little guy. And you're like, that costs more than this big boy, this big rotisserie chicken? You're like, how is that even possible? You know, I mean, like, just look at some of the sizes of these pieces of meat from a chicken. Either at a rotisserie chicken at the grocery store, KFC, Popeyes, just generally in the store where you can buy chicken to cook. They vary in sizes. Like, I just want to know, like, whoa, this chicken had it good. This one not so good. Like, this one ate to his fullest. He's strong. He's got a lot of weight to him. He's got some fat. He's giant. And in this one, looks like he had to fight for all of his food. This poor guy. I wonder, like, what that is. Why that is. Is it because they don't feed them enough? Is it because they feed some way too much? Or they, genetically modified to grow faster? I've heard that. I've heard of that. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that. There could be a possibility on the growth of these chickens and how they grow so quickly. I don't know if that's true or not, but it could be. You view it. You see one chicken from another, you're like, whoa, total difference. Big, gigantic difference. Like, what could possibly be the cause of this? I have no idea. You got that with steak too. You'll get a cut of ribeye that has a decent amount of good fat. Good fat that's like marbleized in there. It's in the meat itself. It looks good. It's going to taste great. That fat adds that flavor. That is really tremendous with a steak. And then you look at another piece of meat. Doesn't have as much fat. It's a little more red, not as fatty. And I've heard of this before, that when the cut of meat is fatter or is fattier, then that cow lived a great life. A pampered and lazy life. Was just kind of kicking back his entire life, getting fat, fed, relaxed, nurtured. And that's like a good sign on a cut of meat and a good sign for that cow. That cow had a nice and pleasant life. Whereas this other piece of meat that doesn't nearly have as much fat, maybe a little bit more red, not as fatty, that cow probably didn't have the best life possible. A little more stressed, didn't eat as well, not as pampered, kind of stressed out, exercised a little too much, moved around too much, was not well treated possibly. It's you kind of think and wonder, like, oh, I want the fattier one because this cow probably lived a much better life than this cow right here. So I'm going to go with that one. Out of my respects to that cow's sacred life, may he rest in peace. I just feel like that I've seen that and I've heard of that because there's a lot of people that are experts on food that I'm not, right? But I see a lot of people on the internet, chefs, cooks, just flat out YouTubers who have become that, who break it down and are like, you know what, this piece of meat we know is going to be tremendous. You hear that a lot with Wagyu beef. Wagyu beef is like the apex of the meats in terms of cow. It's a specific type of cow, I believe in Japan, and they straight up get them drunk, feed them till they're full, massage them, pamper them. They have zero stress, and then when they're good and ready and full, they kill them, and then they butcher their meat, and their meat I hear is just absolutely incredible. Incredible. And I wonder if some of these cows, where we get our meats from, in the States, some are living better than others. You could kind of assume by the cut of meat. But I would love to try Wagyu beef. I've never tried it, always wanted to. Looks tremendous. I'm a huge fat guy. I love fat. I really do. In steak, in pork, in not too much in chicken. I don't know why, but that one just does not translate for me. I love bacon. Bacon's pretty much all fat, or a lot of it is fat. I love that. I love fat in fruit. Avocado has a lot of fat in it. Good fat, by the way. I love that fruit. It's a tremendous fruit. It's great for you. I love it quite a bit. Huge fat guy. And I grew up with a lot of people that did not care for the fat on steak. It's like, guys, you don't understand. The fat is where the flavor's at. What are you doing? What are you talking about? You don't like the fat. You cut off the fat. Sure. There's some fat you cannot eat and you should not eat. They're really tough, really mushy. Yeah, sure. But the fat that's like inviting you to eat, that's pleasant, that adds some flavor. And you're like, oh, it's bad for your cholesterol. Like, brother, you're already eating the steak. You've already given your cholesterol a bad day. All right? You've already given your heart a bad meal. Okay? What's one piece of fat going to do? Have you had it? Have you tried it? Tastes amazing. If you haven't, give it a shot. You might like it. I hate people that just discard fat, whatever the word is. Ignore it or disgusted by it. And you're fat, by the way. You are fat. People who don't like fat and who are fat puzzle me. It's like, how did you get to that? By not eating fat. They cut off the fat, they put it in a pile, they throw it away. I've seen this happen before. It's like, how are you the way that you are then? Huh? Oh, you eat artificial fat, chips, candy, which I do too, right? Snack foods, pizza, frozen foods, all fat. Don't pretend that there's no fat in there. You POS. And then looking at me like all weird, like, oh, you're eating the fat from a steak? Like, yeah, I am. Man is king. I slayed this animal. Well, not me particularly, but my kind did, for me to enjoy. So I will eat that fat all day, all night. I am a firm believer, firm believer in cleaning the plate of all food. I've been like that for my entire life. I really have. There's no reason why you should not be able to eat all your food on your plate. And what I mean by that is, one, you need it to survive, right? It's also disrespectful, I think, that if you don't finish your meal that you've been presented by your loved ones, your mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, relatives, kind of disrespectful, honestly. And if you're a grown man that doesn't do that, even more disrespectful to you than to others. Also, because you have the choice of how much food you want to put on your plate. So, put as much as you can eat and eat it. Now, if you're served a hefty amount at a restaurant, if you had an appetizer, if you're going to have dessert, if you're at a restaurant, sure. It's not really prepared by a loved one from you. It's prepared by a corporation, by a chain, by a business. I understand that. But I'm talking about a home-cooked meal. and you can't complete your plate? I mean, get out of my sight. Get out of my sight. Honestly. Someone worked hard for that. Made you a meal with love and compassion, and you can't complete it? And you served yourself? You're a grown man? Grown woman? Shame on you. Big shame on you. So that was just kind of a food rant that I had. I'll be moving on to the actual part of the show that I took notes on and created topics for. Kind of going into just a little bit of, I'll start with entertainment today. Like I've told you guys in the past, I've been enjoying Battlefield 6 quite a bit. Campaign, Battle Royale, all been pretty good. And I've been actually kind of lagging behind on another key feature that came out with the game. Right at launch, once I bought the game, I had it. I had, at my disposal. I could have played it whenever I wanted to, but I just hadn't, right? Talking about the campaign. I was intrigued with the campaign. I enjoyed what they had shown us about the world of Battlefield and the campaign that the world is in this game. And I was like, this could be really interesting. And I had started it like a week or two ago, maybe a week and a half ago. I played the first 3 missions, and right off the bat, I was like, this is a sick campaign. Like, this is a really, really good campaign so far. The first 3 missions are absolute bangers. Bangers. I mean, like, they were just like hard-hitting, high-intensity, awesome action set pieces, really good gunplay, bit choppy frame rate, a little bit unoptimized, but I'm like, you know what, maybe it'll calm down. It's gotta, hopefully it gets better. The story's engaging. It's pretty interesting, how the world is with like the geopolitics and how things are operating in that. It's kind of familiar, kind of not familiar. I'm willing to disband my reality and just kind of let it go for what it is. And then I completed it, and I had to play 6 more missions after the first 3 that were, to me, knocked out of the park. And it kind of went downhill from there. I'm not going to lie. The frame rate never got better. There were so many times in this game where it was so choppy, so hard to look at. In fact, like, not just hard, but embarrassing to look at. Like, how could the game that comes out in 2025, AAA, multiplayer, big budget studio shooter campaign that we've seen done in time and time again in the past by Call of Duty and even Battlefield themselves and others that, Medal of Honor, all those other shooters that, first-person shooters that make campaigns, right? And then this newest one, with all the bells and whistles, the cream of the crop, this is Battlefield 6. They're back. They're better than ever. And they can't even give me a fully optimized campaign on my Xbox Series X. I mean, when I say that it was just so framey, so choppy, so unoptimized, sometimes hard to look at, embarrassing to look at, it's like, whoa. Like, I mean, like, it definitely felt like kind of, well, maybe not kind of, but really, really, really rushed. Either rushed, ran out of time, didn't know how to complete it, ran out of ideas. Like, I just don't understand why it looked that bad. Maybe ran out of resources. It just could not optimize it. I mean, it was just looking terrible. You would be in a gunfight, right? And then it would go into a cinematic, and that was that is like the most choppiest thing that you will ever see happen in this game's campaign. Is a transition from the gameplay to a cutscene, and it's just like, whoa, how does it look this bad? How is it this? It's struggling so bad to just go from gameplay to cutscene. It's like, whoa. I straight up could not believe it. I thought it was just like a really, really painful thing to watch happen. It was really, really, really bad. It's to the fact where you can't even look at it sometimes. It's so bad. That really annoyed me. Especially on a current gen console, the most powerful console, and it looks this bad, and I have it on performance mode, and it still is not looking good. It's like struggling. It's like unoptimized. It's like it's just like staticky. Everybody's static. Audio's not matching up. Visuals not matching up. Audio deafens for some reason, and then it raises back up again. Seems like the camera movements when you're in a cinematic or in a cutscene aren't really tracking exactly what you want to see. It's kind of like off center to the side, not like totally what I'm supposed to be looking at, and it's just all framey, and it's just like it's very unpleasant to look at. And you're like, well, the gameplay is smooth, gameplay is cool, snappy gunplay. It's an eyesore, and it's like you don't want to look at it. And they make it so it's like some of these cutscenes are really, really cool, but they're unoptimized and they look like crap. And that's unfortunate. The soldier AI in this game is some of the worst I've seen since Halo 4 and Halo 5. I mean, like, in this game, you are in a squad in pretty much every single mission, and you are able to command your squad. Your squad will help you up if you get down. Your squad engages the enemy ahead of you. They actually go and shoot them, and you can choose battle orders like, hey, throw a grenade there, throw a smoke grenade there, all that stuff to help you out. But in the simplest things, my squad will straight up run past the enemy soldiers that are trying to shoot me, do nothing, and just like kind of stand there, run back and forth, run side to side. Really just like don't really do anything at some points, and it's just kind of annoying. It's like this is even making it even harder and harder and harder for me to complete this goddamn campaign because it's so unwatchable, unplayable, and just kind of just mediocre and embarrassing to look at. Because those small details, the soldier AI being so crap, the everything just kind of tanking at once, the frame rate, the cutscenes is making it a very, very, very unenjoyable thing to play. And not just my squad AI, but the enemy soldiers AI, they'll just kind of just be walking around and be like, oh, look at this. He's just right there doing nothing. And now, oh, shoot him. He's dead. Move on. It's just like, it's very, it really brings you out of the immersion. It's unenjoyable. It's really just kind of boring, and it ruins the experience. It really does. And it's just like, there's no really other way to describe it than just kind of embarrassing to watch. It's like a it's like a fire. It's like a house going up in flames. You can't bear but just watch it go down, So that's soldier AI, and that's optimization. The next one, bad thing about this is that while the gameplay and the gunplay is pretty cool and smooth and easy, some of these missions are designed very, very, very poorly. I mean, extremely poor mission design, very boring at times, very just like straightforward, not really exciting, no excitement whatsoever. So the first three are really good, just kind of going forward. Some pretty cool cinematic missions, sniping to storming a beach to just like all around, like the cinematics in the first three missions were really good for what they could be. But once you finish those three missions, I swear to you, there's like two missions where you're just kind of sneaking around, just walking forward, being quiet. A tank mission that is extremely boring and very anticlimactic and just like very underwhelming. a mission where you have to literally traverse an entire landscape of bases and clear them out with like no cinematic, no real stakes, no real story behind it to get you engaged, and flat out boring missions after the first three. There's a couple that kind of stand out that were pretty cool, but in the end, like the mission design is just very, very, very boring. It's just not engaging. It doesn't promote like any like cool suspenseful moments. It really just misses the mark on all that. And where Call of Duty really nails it with like the cinematics and the Michael Bay style of like mission gameplay and drawing up stakes and having the cutscenes look awesome along with awesome gameplay, this one really, really struggles to do that. And it honestly, like, Call of Duty could have done this way better. Like, and it has done it way better in the past. And I did not want to believe IGN's 5 out of 10 mediocre score for this game. I really didn't. And the more I played, the more I was like, oh my gosh, this is a boring campaign. This is a hard to look at campaign. This is a stupid campaign with the stupid soldier AI. And talk about just like unclimactic, like no real stakes, no fun missions. Straight up a mission where I'm just kind of like going through a valley and taking out this base of bad guys and taking out this other base of bad guys and taking out this another base of bad guys in whichever order you'd like to and how any approach you would like to with either a rocket launcher, assault rifle, sniper, shotgun, but no real storytelling and no real, cinematics and no real story stakes that make it so you're like, oh yeah, this is a cool campaign. Quite the opposite. Just very, very, very boring. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I might have missed on this campaign that was, ended up being hard for me to get through because it was just such a slugfest. No, not a slugfest, a slogfest. It dragged and dragged and dragged. Every mission after the first three was just boring. There's a few cool like chase scenes, few cool missions that take place on the Brooklyn Bridge that were pretty entertaining. A couple missions in New York that were cool, but again, like the big main selling points and the big like beats in the story that were advertised just fell so flat. The tank mission in particular, my God, that really just that one really irritated me. That one was so not good. That was just like, wow. It ended pretty strong though. The last mission is really cool. That one was awesome, but you can kind of tell like they had a strong start, a strong finish, and like a very, very weak middle, like very, very weak compared to the beginning and the end, which was like, dang it. I get it. Your resources went to the beginning and the end, but like the middle is the longest part, and you're just like, oh God, like I was like legit like, when is this going to be over? I heard it was a very short campaign, but can it be shorter? Like, this is just irritating. I wanted this to be done. And I was just like, I was talking to my friends. They're like, you finished campaign? They're like, you finished the campaign yet? You finished the campaign? I'm like, no, I'm playing the multiplayer. Like, you gotta finish the campaign. I'm like, this campaign so far, guys, has not been worth my precious time. So I'm going to hold off on that. And I finally ended up beating it. I'm like, yeah, thank God I beat this campaign. Now I can uninstall, which is a shame. I would have liked to, wanted to, if it was like an actually good campaign, possibly replay it, possibly retry it. And there's collectibles in these missions and secrets and things you could, get. And my friend had said that he'd gone through all of them and picked them up. And I'm like, how could you do that? It was so boring and so lifeless. Like, I wouldn't even want to do that. I would not want to spend that much time going back and going through that campaign again to get these stupid collectibles that are not even worth my time. I would not be able to do that. With all my strength and with God's will, I could not muster up that kind of dedication to do that. No way. Could not do that. So yeah, overall, a very mid campaign. Very mid, very disappointing. Whoever developed it, produced it, like, that's not it. I mean, you started strong, ended strong, but you could not sustain it throughout the middle missions, which were at least a good 4 or 5 in the middle. I'm like, oh, good Lord. Because I'm pretty sure it's a total of 9 missions. So we had 4 good ones, 5 bad missions. Pretty bad missions. And some of the good in the missions does not outweigh the bad. I am sorry. They just don't. But then again, I mean, like, the gameplay in it throughout is good. The gunplay throughout feels great. The atmosphere when you're in a gunfight feels pretty good. It's chaotic. It's very Battlefield. It's like, this is a good feel. It's immersive. It's just like the mission designs are so poor that you're like, it becomes a drag. There's only so much of the cool Battlefield goodness that can power me through such a stale story with such really bad mission designs, you know? So overall, Battlefield 6's campaign, I'm not going to go as low as IGN, but I will go pretty low. I'm going to go a 6 out of 10 on this campaign. Okay, it's okay. It should not be okay, though. It's like very borderline okay to not good. So, like, if I'm Battlefield and I'm cooking up the next Battlefield campaign, you need to take some constructive criticisms from what we are saying as fans and really, really try next time to make your campaign, which I hope you do make a campaign, even better than this last one. I mean, hey, this is your first one in a long time. You didn't have one with 2042. You had some decent war stories in Battlefield 5. You had some really good war stories in Battlefield 1. Carry on, take some notes from this, take the criticism, take it on the chin, and make the next one even better, which I think that it could be better. There's definitely some, room at the end of this campaign to make a sequel to this one. So hopefully they actually do and are able to make a better campaign than the first one, which is what I hope for. Sticking with some entertainment news, Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz will be coming back to return for a 4th Mummy movie. That is what's being reported. That is what's being talked about. And as a person who grew up watching the Mummy movies as a young boy, particularly 1 and 2, 3 was not good, but 1 and 2 were awesome. I mean, I am absolutely thrilled for this. I cannot wait to watch this, because I will watch this unless it looks atrocious. But if it doesn't, then I really want to watch it. I'm excited for this. I love Brendan Fraser. I love Rachel Weisz. And I cannot wait to watch this movie, if it even comes out. Brendan Fraser's been on a comeback the past 3 or 4 years. He's been coming back. And we could only have just dreamt of this man coming back to do another Mummy movie. Another Mummy movie, and it's actually going to come out. It's actually in talks of coming out. I could not be more excited. The one thing that I'm actually really, really I'm really concerned about, though, is that Brendan Fraser is an older guy. I don't think he's going to be as athletic as he could be in the past. I don't think that's how age works. I don't think that's how the human body works when it gets up in age. You don't become more athletic the older that you get. So I wonder how this is going to all shape up. Is it going to be like an Indiana Jones 4 and 5 role where he's going to be like an older guy, kind of like that? Is he going to be like, is it going to be much more of like a psychological, maybe like a thriller, not so much action? Like, what kind of movie is this going to be? I truly don't know what route they could possibly take with these two being older and not as mobile, because let's face it, I mean, if you watch the first two Mummy movies, Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser were booking it in those movies. Jumping, running, fighting, falling, getting hurt, doing their own stunts. I mean, it looked like it was a lot of, work and a lot of damage dealt to their bodies back then. So I can only imagine, like, if they're going to keep in the same spirit of those movies and be like an action movie, I could only imagine it being like maybe having to tone it back a little bit. In the movies, they do have a son who, if you watch the third one, is a grown man in that one. And like, I wonder if like they'll make that so be like the maybe they'll bring the son back, and along with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz's characters there too. Like, I wonder how that's even going to work out, But I do know that this is a ways from now. But just to see like all these big time Hollywood outlets report this, and a lot of other people report this too, and people just kind of chatting about it in the zeitgeist, like, this is something that we would like to see if done correctly, and if done within like the spirit of the old Mummy movies that I grew up watching. So this could be really cool. This could be awesome. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it materializes and what kind of story it's going to be. I can only imagine it's got to be like in, somewhat the future, though, because the first movie, I believe, takes place in the 1930s, maybe even the late 20s. So I'm curious to like see how like the time jump's going to affect like the actual the plot, how that might, affect what the story is going to be actually about. Is it still going to be about ancient Egypt, and like is Imhotep still going to be a thing? Is he going to make a miraculous return like Palpatine? Like, what's going to happen? Is the Rock going to be in it? Is the Scorpion King going to be back? Like, what's going on? I mean, the third one, The Mummy 3: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, I'll be honest with you, was not a very good movie. Pretty mid. And it did not have the lovely Rachel Weisz. It had another actress playing her character. So that was kind of like a telling sign that this movie might not be as good as what we had thought it was going to be. And it surely wasn't when it first came out. I did not really enjoy that movie. I think I own it, but I don't recall watching it that much as 1 and 2. But yeah, the new Mummy movie with Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser coming out, I'm sold. Cannot wait to see it. Moving on to some sports. I've been wanting to talk about the World Series for a week and a half now on the pod, but I haven't been able to because we have been at the World Series was such an hanging of the balance between the days of when I record the show and when the show comes out. It just kind of landed on those days miraculously. I had no, saying in when I wasn't going to move show days and recording days because of that, and I didn't have the time to do that neither. So now that the dust has finally settled, and now that I can report to you that I, as a Dodgers fan, am very, very, very happy on winning the World Series. I can finally talk about the craziness of this year's World Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. First of all, I'm happy that the United States of America beat Canada. Right? As a country, we gotta unite and be like, yes, We beat the country to the north. We are better at baseball than Canada. USA, USA, USA. If you were not a Dodgers fan and you were rooting for Canada, shame on you. Shame on you. I hope you know that God is watching you and is like in disapproval of your actions towards your country that you live in, that you reside in. Shame on you. Giants fans, if you rooted for the Toronto Blue Jays, shame on you. Yankees fans, if you rooted for the Toronto Blue Jays, shame on you. Padres fans, if you rooted for the Toronto Blue Jays, shame on you. Phillies fans, if you rooted for the Toronto Blue Jays, shame on you. Brewers fans, if you rooted for the Toronto Blue Jays, shame on you. That's all I got to say. Now to the actual series itself. What an absolute nerve-wracking, emotional, hopeless at times World Series for me as a Dodgers fan. I mean, losing the first game, coming back and winning the next two games, then losing the next two games for it to be 3-2, heading back to Toronto, then going back to Toronto to win both games in Toronto in such close margins and such like dramatic fashion, plays at the very end of the game, like wow. I mean, up and down, down and up, stressed, relieved, joy, pain, a lot of sorrow, emotional roller coaster. And yet, you know what? You have to kind of tip your hat to the theatrics and the show that we had seen in this World Series. Except for like game one, where it was like a blowout. We have to like look back and be like, you know what? This was a really, really, really exciting and really good, tremendous World Series. It might not have been the matchup that we all wanted. Let's be honest, it might not have been that. But Jesus, man, it was a great, great, great World Series. I mean, you just have to kind of say that, man. There's really no other way to put it. It was a great, great World Series. I mean, let me see if I can try and find the scores of the games real quick. Okay, so I got all the games right here. Like I said, game one was a blowout. Blue Jays beat us 11-4. Game two, somewhat of a blowout. We came back and we won 5-1. Game three, we won 6-5. And game four, we lost. We lost 2-6. Game four, we lost 2-6. Game five, we lost 1-6. And then, I mean, that at that point, when we're losing by that much, they're up on us 3-2, going back to Toronto. You can only imagine my sheer disappointment, my sheer pain, sadness, sorrow, spirit pretty much crumbled. I was going through it. I was talking to my dad, my family. I'm like, dude, like, we might be done. It might be over for us. Like, those performances at home, we couldn't hit the ball for a while. Just not good. It's terrible. And then I was feeling very down at that point with us going to Toronto. Like, and we got to do something. Then we won game 6, 3-1 by, the heroics of Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitching the best that he possibly could, giving us a chance and us coming up and winning. And then game 7, we won 5-4 with heroics from Miguel Rojas, heroics from him in the previous game, Andy Pages catching that fly ball to end the inning, Tyler Glasnow stepping up, Yamamoto coming in in Game 7 to clean it out or close it out after pitching the day prior. I mean, dude, this guy was an absolute legend. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is an absolute legend and will be remembered for his heroics and greatness in this World Series for the Dodgers. Like, incredible. Like, nobody starts a game prior to finishing a Game 7 the day before. Started the game before Game 7 and then comes in for like 3 innings to close out a World Series win. I mean, when we needed the home runs, we got them. From Max Muncy to put us within 1, to Miguel Rojas to tie it up, and then Will Smith to take the lead, and then Yoshi to close them out. I mean, just absolutely on a double play too, when they were threatening, just incredible. An incredible World Series. For me, for Dodgers fans, for baseball fans, if you're neutral and you didn't have an agenda against the Dodgers and just watching it, an incredible, incredible World Series. The throw to the plate from Miguel Rojas in the bottom of the 9th, dude, to get the runner out. That was an incredible, incredible play that you're like, without these substitutions that Dave Roberts made in Game 6 and in Game 7, I don't know if we win this World Series. I really, really don't. Miguel Rojas, man, along with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, really cemented themselves in Dodgers World Series history on their performances in this World Series. That last game, Game 7, I was silent for 2 full hours. I didn't say a word. I was just so miserable through it. Miserable. I would have loved, absolutely loved, adored, and had the best time if we were winning 7-0. If that's how it finished, we won 7-0. I would have had the happiest, joyfulest, best time watching a Game 7 in my entire life. But because we were down for the majority of the game and crawling and slashing and punching our way back from the depths of hell, from the pits of sorrow and sadness, you can see on their faces, Mookie didn't play well, Freddie Freeman didn't play well, Shohei Ohtani did not play well. It was our backup and role players like Will Smith, Max Muncy, Miguel Rojas that really ended up winning the game for us. And of course, behind the heroics of Yoshi Yamamoto, I mean, our star players were letting us down. And when your star players are letting us down, the best players on the team not doing anything, as a fan, you're like, well, if these guys can't do it, who can? Who can? Well, I'll tell you who. Will Smith, Miguel Rojas, and Max Muncy could, along with Yoshi Yamamoto. And we ended up winning. So you can only imagine. When I say I was silent for 2 hours, I didn't say a word. I was literally just on my couch, slumped in it, looking at my TV, and being like, don't do this to me. Please, thinking it. I didn't even say it. I just thought it. Don't do this to me. I don't want to go through this much pain. Please. Please don't come back and win Game 6 and force a Game 7 for me to see this happen. Please don't do this to me. Especially a Canadian team that doesn't play baseball. Well, that does, but Canada hockey. I was just like, don't do this to me, please. I can't go through this much pain. I can't. I really can't. And then it turned around and we won. Tremendous. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. I bought merch like as soon as the game finished, I bought World Series merch. Bought a hat, a t-shirt, and a pennant that all say World Series champions on it. I'm so happy. So happy. And I had watched the highlights and I replayed the key moments from that Game 7 multiple times that night. Multiple times I went back and I was watching the final two outs. I watched the outfield catch by Pages. I watched the home runs again. I watched Yoshi's innings. I was like, I watched those all multiple times before the night had ended. Before I went to bed that night, I watched that all multiple times because it was just like, it was such a magical moment. And I was there to witness it for myself. And I was just like, wow, I'm so happy. I was so ecstatic. It might have been like last year's World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees had all the Hollywood writing in. It had all the pomp and circumstances, the stars, the locations, the teams, the history, and it was an overall, not an enjoyable World Series. We won 4-1. This one, Dodgers and the Blue Jays, not exactly the matchup that people want to see, but ended up being a really good World Series. Like, just got to make sure that we are seeing what quality really is, right? You get a good World Series, you're going to remember it for a while. Doesn't got to be the perfect matchup. Doesn't got to be the Hollywood movie matchup. But as long as the teams are trying and playing baseball and playing to win the championship throughout the highs and the lows, and if it goes the distance of 7 games, which we're lucky that this one did, you can't be like, oh, I hate baseball. You can't say that. As all these people that are saying that, oh, the Dodgers ruined baseball, it's like, bro, we just spend our money wisely. We acquire players that we want, that are capable of helping us win championships. If you're not doing that as an owner, then you're not doing your job. You're not. The truth is, a lot of these teams should have a lot of good players. A lot of them should have a lot of good players to make their team better, but they don't do that. So maybe you guys should learn from the Dodgers and use the money that you earn to get the players that you think can help you win a World Series. All right? I don't want to hear any more about this. The Dodgers are ruining baseball. Then beat us. That's all I have to say. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. People, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. Be sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, and do all that good stuff. And yes, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I will see you guys next week.